It's horse beef. What's going on, everybody? Fucking bringing you another tier list video. It's been a little bit. I apologize. Came down with something. Been sick. Been lethargic. Haven't really felt up to doing a whole lot of anything recently. But yeah, I thought I'd bring you guys a nice little video here, nice little tier list, and switch things up a bit because God knows that as far as like current happenings in the UFC, nothing really interesting has happened. I know there was a card last night, Brandon Moreno versus Steve Erceg. Fun fight, fun card overall, but really nothing to talk about. So I thought I would switch things up a little bit and do something that I'm not sure that any other MMA YouTuber has done, and that is go over MMA movies and really speak about them and rank them accordingly, because I think there are some gem MMA films I think people should watch, really, and I'm merging two worlds here. I am a movie buff, I guess you could call me, a lot less so than I used to be at one point. There was a point where I was considering making a movie review YouTube channel, right, at one point, because I've just always been a movie guy, right? But I will be skipping the documentaries like Stylebender or Notorious, for example. I know Michael Bisping has one. There are a bunch of examples of these because pretty much they're just all a bunch of self-indulgent bullshit. I don't care for documentaries that are made by the person who the documentary is centered around. You just know it's going to be some kind of a fluff piece. Just didn't care to watch mine. I think I've seen Notorious. God knows I'll never be watching Stylebender. You could probably pay me enough, but I definitely wouldn't watch it for free. Well, let's get into it, man. Starting with Beatdown, starring Michael Bisping. I don't know if he's necessarily starring in it. But he is one of the main characters in this movie. He is on the poster, but he isn't quite the main character. I don't know. Listen, I'm gonna be real here. When it comes to MMA fighters turned actors, Michael Bisping, I'm not saying he's a great actor because he definitely isn't. Like he's super one note, but he's one of the more watchable MMA fighters that I've actually seen on screen, man. He might be up there with somebody like Randy Couture. I know the bar is very low for MMA fighters as far as they go as actors.
You're taking everything I work for, motherfucker. I'm gonna fight your fucking ass.
But Michael Bisping's not that bad, dude. He's really not that bad. He might be one of the best. But this movie was fucking stupid. It's absolutely one of the dumbest movies I've seen in quite a while. I hadn't seen it up to this point. It's trash, right? This dude's fucking brother gets murdered, and then he starts fighting to pay back the debt that his brother left. It's just a really cliche, basic plot. And it's really as simple as that. Some really fun, campy moments, terrible dialogue at times, really, really bad acting. And it's kind of edited together. Like the fight scenes at some points are edited together, kind of like a Bollywood movie or like an Indian fucking soap opera. So you have that going for it as well. It's kind of fun in that regard if you just want to laugh at something terrible, because this movie is quite terrible. Is it the worst of these MMA films? Probably not, but it's still pretty shitty, man. It's man. I'm going to put it C tier just because Bisping delivers such a tour de force performance, you know what I'm saying? And then we have Here Comes the Boom, Kevin James. He's a teacher or something, has to raise money. Listen, I didn't rewatch this movie for the purpose of making this tier list, but I've seen it. I know what it's about. He's a teacher and he gets into MMA so that he can raise money for something. I forget the exact plot behind it, but yeah, the fight scenes are all right. It just plays it super safe, though. It's not that campy. It takes itself a little bit too seriously. And yeah, like it may be one of the better films, like technically, like from a technical standpoint, it may be better than some of the films that I place above it, but it just plays it too safe. And this one is just like perfect for middle of the pack, B tier as far as I'm concerned. Then we get into Never Back Down, right? The first Never Back Down came out 2008. I remember, I have vivid memories, core memories of going to watch this in theaters with my mom and brother. I was already an MMA fan around that time, a little kid, and this film just kind of defined my MMA fandom as a child. Like I was much more of like a kickboxing guy back in the day. I would watch MMA as a kid, like with my brother or whatever, or like root against whoever he was rooting for because I thought it was funny, because fuck your older brother, right? Fuck that guy. But man, this movie, after watching it, it galvanized me. It got me so much more into MMA. It's kind of just a banger film, bro. And like back in the day when Amber Heard was kind of hot, and like before we knew that she was a crazy bitch as well. Dude, I forget the main character's name, something Tyler. It's super basic, white dude name, but like he's not even that bad in it either. Man, the main actor, you got this dude with always taking off his shirt, fucking trying to show his abs every 2 seconds in the film. It's perfect, like 2000s campy shit, but it takes itself just serious enough. And it deserves to, you know, because, you know, you have Jimon Hunsu in this film who punches way above his weight, man. He has no fucking business being in a movie like Never Back Down. But at the end of the day, man, the rest of the characters in the film, the rest of the performances, they stack up, man. They're not that bad. This is a proper, decent movie. It's not perfect, right? It's not perfect, but as far as MMA films go, this is one of the quintessential ones, and it may just be my favorite. I watch it on like a yearly basis, multiple times a year, if anything. There's just something about it, man. Maybe it's the nostalgia. In fact, it probably is the nostalgia. It definitely is the nostalgia, you know, at the end of the day. But this film's fucking awesome, man. If you haven't seen it as an MMA fan, please go out and watch it because it bangs. And the fight scenes are pretty good as well. It's not that unrealistic either. Like, I feel it kind of does capture the essence of a hot-headed brawler, you know, entering an MMA gym and, you know, realizing that he ain't shit. Yeah, man, it's actually not a bad film. As far as like a movie itself goes, it's probably like a solid 6 out of 10. But for me, it's like a 9 out of 10 just because of the nostalgia that has to do with it. But yeah, S tier 100%. But then we have Never Back Down 2. Now listen to me right now. This movie is absolutely terrible. Okay, now that I'm looking at the list again, Beatdown has to be moved down. Never Back Down 2. I'm going to keep it at C tier, but this may be the worst film on the entire list. The performances are terrible. Main actors, I don't know their names, and nor do I care to look up their names. You have Michael J. White, who's always cool to see in a film, right? From Black Dynamite fame. If you haven't seen Black Dynamite, please watch it, right? Like, Michael J. White is a legend as far as movie martial artists go. He's always great to watch. All of his fight scenes are great, as unrealistic as they are. But they're just great to watch, right? He's great. Todd Duffy's also in this film and delivers honestly one of the craziest lines of dialogue as far as delivery that I've ever seen in my life. This shit's crazy.
Oh shit, guys. I think I know a place.
Shit is absolutely crazy. It like the plot makes no sense. There's this dude with like the most obvious fucking terrible wig you've ever seen in your entire life becomes like a sadistic murderer all of a sudden. The plot makes no sense. It's stupid. There's fucking like gratuitous sex scenes as well, which is like a prerequisite for these 2000s MMA movies. It's just so dumb and absolutely 100% C tier. As far as the movie goes, this is like a solid 1 out of 10. It's so trash, but campy and kind of fun to watch, and it's a guilty pleasure. And then we get to Never Back Down, No Surrender, and I'm just gonna cut this shit and put it right at D tier. This one, it has like the same level of camp as Never Back Down 2, but it's just so gratuitously terrible. I think Josh Barnett's in this one as well. Michael J. White is the main character once again. I don't even know how to describe this one. It's just terrible. You kind of have to watch it for yourself in order to really understand. It's missing something that Never Back Down 2 had. Never Back Down 2 still had that same kind, it had the same vibe, at least a similar vibe to Never Back Down 1, but was just a much greater drop-off in quality. This is a even greater drop-off in quality from 1 to 2, and just falls off a cliff, and this thing is 100% D tier, and I don't want to speak much more about it. Then we get this fucking movie that, man, oh man, I hate this thing so much. I hate this thing. It may be a technically better film than Beatdown, Never Back Down 2. In fact, it most definitely is. But let me tell you something. This is one of the stupidest movies I've seen, or that I've had the displeasure of watching in quite some time. I'll boil down the plot to this simple description here. This lady is a trainer of a MMA champion, right? As you can tell by this clip right here.
Nice. It's not just about power, okay? It's about precision.
Is that right? Making her MXM debut.
Fucking fantastic stuff. He cheats on her with her sister, I believe.
Fucking my little sister is an act of war.
And then she proceeds to seek out his rival, like his arch nemesis, in order to train him to beat her ex. And listen, you have these terrible inner monologues from the main character that are just awful, man. It's just written like some shitty fucking romance novel. It's completely shit, but it does preach the importance of equal rights, though, which is beautiful to see. As always, we love that. Of course, we love equal rights. We believe in them very strongly, and this movie preaches that and displays it so beautifully. with the ending. So you know what, man? D tier 100%, but equal rights, dude. Equal rights and equal lefts. But then we get into Tapped Out. Now I just have to say it right now, man. What is with this haircut? Why were so many of the same looking people casted for these roles? Just look at the main character of Never Back Down 2, Tapped Out, Never Back Down 1. They're different people, but they're the same fucking people. This was just like early 2000s. I guess it was kind of late 2000s, but just 2000s like twink look that for some reason like film producers, casting agents just could not get enough of these dudes. Like the same exact look, but what is with the haircut? I don't understand it, but it's so stupid. It had to have been written by like, some kind of a karate nerd, because this guy, he gets into karate or some shit like that, and then he becomes a badass and beats up a dude like 5 times his size. It makes no sense, and it's just stupid, but you know, Anderson Silva's in it. You get to see some Anderson Silva acting. You know, it's not even like he's the worst thing you've ever seen either. Lyoto Machida, same thing. But this movie is so fucking dumb. It's just so dumb. It's so dumb. But same thing with Never Back Down 2. It strikes a pretty decent balance between camp and taking itself seriously. I feel like it strikes almost the right balance, but it's still just so dumb, and it's hampered so much by the awful performances. But I happen to like awful performances, but if we're being objective here, this is probably C tier. I would say, yeah, it's about on the same level as Never Back Down 2. Stupid as all hell. No logic behind it. Makes no sense. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. It's just completely dumb. But if you're like me and you enjoy dumb things, you enjoy watching dumb things and laughing at them, or for the purpose of laughing at them, then you will definitely enjoy Tapped Out. It is a stupid fucking experience, absolutely. But then we have an absolute banger, right? Undisputed 2. This is where the Undisputed franchise became pretty amazing, and it's not just a guilty pleasure of mine. I just love the franchise. I think it's so good, man. As soon as Yuri Boyka was introduced into it, Scott Adkins pretty much took over it as a whole, and Undisputed 2 was where he was introduced. Like some of the choreography, the high flying and everything, it's some of the most, like, I'm not going to say it's the most like realistic choreography, but it's some of the most like visually pleasing, like some of the most aesthetic fucking choreography I've ever seen. Like some of the kicks that Yuri Boyka, or Scott Adkins, I should say, pulls off in that film, man. It's crazy. Michael J. White's no slouch either, but Yuri Boyka just completely steals the show. Absolutely. I believe this is a sequel to a Wesley Snipes, Ving Rhames film that came out in the early 2000s, like 2002 or something, but then took it in a totally new direction and made it more about MMA, I suppose, man. But, man, complete banger. If you don't want to watch the movie, I recommend just look up Yuri Boyka fight scenes and just watch through those, man, because they are some of the most aesthetically pleasing fight scenes you will see in a film. And just look at the physique on this man too, man. One of the most aesthetically pleasing physiques I've ever seen. No Sean O'Malley, no John Jones, no Ian Gary. Oh, and then we have an absolute banger. An absolute banger to an even greater degree than Undisputed 2, man. Undisputed 3 Redemption, mostly because it centers completely around Yuri Boyka. There's very little fluff in this film. There's very little story even. It's just about him recovering from the injury that he sustained in the last film, Undisputed 2. Going through his redemption arc and just going up against a litany of different martial arts styles, and the choreography fucking shines here, man. This shit's crazy. It's some of the best choreography you'll ever see in a movie, I think. Really, just when it comes to one-on-one, hand-to-hand combat, like I say, unrealistic, like way too acrobatic to be realistic, fucking incorporating backflips in the middle of fights and effectively like backflip kicking people in the fucking chin and sending them flying. This shit just doesn't happen in a real world, but it's just the way that it's filmed here, right? You see the actors performing the moves, the choreography, the fight scenes, and Marco Zaror, he's kind of like the final boss here for Yuri Boyka. This actor kills it as well, man. He kills it, man. Everyone in this movie kills it. The capoeira, fuck, dude, this movie's just so sick. It's just all about the fight scenes. And if you're just trying to watch a movie purely for the fight scenes, hand-to-hand combat, right, the best shit you can see, Undisputed 3, for me, it still hasn't been topped. Like, and we will get into another Undisputed film that comes after this one, also centered around Yuri Boyka. For me, it didn't top this one. Undisputed 3 is the pinnacle as far as like hand-to-hand combat, like fight scenes go. I know there's like The Raid, like that, like those films have better choreography as far as, beating up groups of guys, but as far as just one-on-one goes, one-on-one contest, holy shit, man, the way that they're captured here, Fucking riveting shit, as unrealistic as it can be at times. Then we get Undisputed Boyka, or Boyka Undisputed. This one is just, it's just, completely about Boyka, but once again, all about the fight scenes. Like these are pretty much just like the John Wick films of watching Yuri Boyka beat the shit out of people. You go watch the John Wick films, you care a little bit about the world building and all that, and the characters and shit. But mostly you want to see John Wick shoot people in the face and kill them in fun ways, right? And just take out groups of people. Same thing here with Boyka. It's not as good. It's a bit of a step down from Undisputed 3, but I would say it is on a similar level from Undisputed 2. Obviously, next level fight scenes, excellent choreography, but a bit cornier than Undisputed 2 and 3, but still takes itself a little seriously, so it loses some marks there because it does go into more of the realms of camp than the previous two, while still being better than like most other films on this entire list to begin with. So Boyka Undisputed, still a fantastic watch, once again, if you're just in it for the fight scenes, which is the bulk of what this film is. So watch it. I would just say watch 2, 3, and Boyka. Right, if you want to watch Undisputed 1, then you're just going to be watching a film that's not really related much at all to the following 3 films, but you can still watch it if you'd like to, obviously. But then we get into Warrior, man, and I'm going to put this one also in S tier because this movie slaps. I'm a big Tom Hardy fan, right? I love Tom Hardy. He was great in this fucking movie. I forget the name of the other brother. I forget his name in real life, but he delivers a great performance as well. He's a school teacher, so, some rich Franklin vibes, pretty much, right? His house is going to be foreclosed, and he's in big financial trouble. So he was an ex-UFC fighter, and he gets back into the game right at a late age, and then there's this massive Grand Prix, like tournament, MMA Grand Prix tournament, which the UFC needs to put on, man. We've been, I feel like we've been putting up with too much as fans. Like the UFC needs to announce something like this, right? Just incentivize the fighters to such an extent that they have to say yes to this type of thing. We need like a one-night tournament like this. We need that shit. I feel like it could be, a situation for disaster, absolutely, like having these guys fight at the highest level multiple times in one night. It's not very realistic, but it's happened before, and I feel like the UFC should just go for that. I don't know, man, but this movie, it captures the vibe, right? It feels like an event. The fight scenes are pretty cool. They're a bit unrealistic, and I noticed some reused shots here and there, which I'm not a huge fan of. I noticed that. But it's all about the drama, the emotion. Fucking Nick Nolte, bro, as the father, brings me to tears every single time. It's just a fantastic movie, and this is like the only like Oscar bait film here, because believe me, the next one up is also an Oscar bait film, but on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. This is Oscar bait that actually works, and it's just a fantastic movie. I would say, just as far as a film goes, this is a solid 9 out of 10. It does have some logical inconsistencies at times, some unrealistic aspects to it, but as far as these MMA films go, this is easily the most grounded in reality, and it's just great. Great performances, great writing. It's fucking awesome. This movie is sick. And then A Violent Man. Crazy cast, right? You have Chuck Liddell in there, and like when you have Chuck Liddell, why are fight scenes chopped up like this? It doesn't make any sense. Why? Like when you have somebody who actually knows how to fight, why are you chopping up scenes like this? I guess Chuck just couldn't perform the choreography, but yeah, having said that, the fight scenes in this movie are absolutely terrible. But this is less of a MMA centered film and more of just a melodramatic slog of a time. It's so bad to watch. It really is a bad film to watch, man. It's just not very good. At least as good as it thinks it is. Because believe me, this film takes itself deadly serious. It's shot, it's filmed like sort of like it thinks it's good, but it just doesn't have the manpower to really fulfill that at all. The acting is horrible, and the writing being as bad as it is doesn't help at all. And you get Mike the Situation, if you remember, or if you grew up watching Jersey Shore at all, you know who I'm talking about. Mike the Situation is in this film, and he delivers a crazy fucking performance, and it is hilarious. But there's something just wrong about a film that takes itself as seriously as this does, while just not realizing that it's no better than Beatdown or fucking Never Back Down 2, or Tapped Out, right? This is on the same level of quality, but it takes itself seriously, and that brings it down. So it's not my least favorite on this, but I would say it's tied for that. It's it is tied for that dishonor of being my least favorite here. It's up there with Perfect Addiction or whatever the fuck this thing is called, right? But the love triangle, complete garbage, complete artsy fartsy garbage that just does not deserve to be held up in any high regard whatsoever. It's just complete garbage that thinks it's a lot better than it is, and I hate that, right? There's nothing worse than that for me when going to watch a movie, thinking that you're watching some campy shit, but the director, like the guy behind the camera, the actors there, they don't see what you're seeing. You know what I mean? They think they're in the middle of creating some high art, but you're just laughing at how terrible it is. So I guess there's that to it as well, because I do enjoy laughing at unintentionally funny shit. I do, but I just hate the movie. I hated watching it, and this was probably the biggest hate watch of them all. At least the worst two that I keep mentioning, Perfect Addiction and A Violent Man. Those are the two biggest hate watches of this year so far for me, man. I could not stand my time watching them. But that does conclude my list. Let me know in the comment section below if I forgot any or if I left any out, because I wasn't going to include every MMA film known to man, because I wasn't going to go out and watch them. These are just the ones that I felt like watching personally, because I do enjoy the campy ones, man. Any poster, right, that has any sort of phrase like "never back down, tapped out," and has that dude, that generic looking white dude from the early 2000s, who all look the same with that haircut and all that. Count me in, man. Count me the fuck in, because you're down. You're bound to have a fantastic time laughing. And that's as simple as it is. And I recommend watching all of these, right? Despite the rankings, if you're an MMA fan, the only ones that I do not recommend watching and forcing yourself to sit through are A Violent Man and Perfect Addiction. Just never, especially Perfect Addiction, especially that one. But A Violent Man is sort of like the fucking, if you've seen Moonlight, then you know what I mean. This is kind of like the Moonlight of MMA films. It thinks it's so good. Oh god. And like, all these films have it in common, except for the Undisputed franchise and Never Back Down 1 and Warrior and Here Comes the Boom, actually. But all like the most campy ones, the ones that all have the same vibe, just gratuitous sex scenes. So don't watch these with your children if you have any children, please. I beg of you. But anyway, guys, that does conclude my ranking. As I said, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the next one.